All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go from the home of NASCAR, Charlotte Motor Speedway. Cody the Dominator Burke and Shane Hoffman will have the front row. Kirk Marble, Patrick Pieper on the second row. David Farn and Ryan Philbrick on the third row. Tyler Thomas, Scott Roney on the fourth. Richie Ragsdale, Derek Schilling round out the top 10. Austin Ruskoff starting in 11th next to Chad Ragsdale in 12th. Rodrigo Moctezuma in 13th. Edmund Jones in 14th. David Lux in 15th. Dave Mayberry in 16th. Shane Hoffman in 17th. Jeremy Queener in 18th. Brian Hewitt, Jeremy Davis round out the top 20. Ryan McDaniel, Lynn Marble 21st and 22nd. Ryan Caldwell in 23rd. Joe Lux in 24th. Nick Ringo and JJ Ringo, the brothers, start side by side, 25th and 26th. Jacob Morgan, Devin McDonald, 27th, 28th. Alex Harper, Nicholas Johnson, 29th and 30th. Mark Dantuma, Tim St. Jean, Garrett Barber, John Wyatt round out the field. Everybody gets stacked up on pit road, ready for their pace lap. And as the sun goes down, the lights will come up. Track temperature currently 72 degrees as we've got one dropping down to pit lane. And they are going to delay the start. Definitely an interesting surprise here. Now this race is 150 laps, 24 to 28 laps on a tank of fuel, because you know Austin Ruskoff loves to torture them. But only a few sets of tires on pit road, so the guys have to conserve. And John Wyatt did not take the grid. Not sure what's going on with Wyatt. Hopefully we'll get an update. They should get the one to green this time by. Kirk Marble back in the field. This is, we haven't seen Kirk in several weeks, so it's great to see him and his dad Lynn back, both back on track. And as we mentioned during pre-race, our current points leader, Austin Edwards, is not here tonight. So he will use a drop race for tonight, but this is Cody Burke's championship to claw back some points tonight. Lights are out. Everybody is stacked up, ready to go. And as always, folks, if you have a favorite driver in the field, don't forget to drop in the comments. Let us know who you're cheering for. A lot of these drivers do listen in. Love to know their fans are in the stands. All right, here we go. Pace car dives in. And the green flag flies. They are down and away in Charlotte. Annette Hoffman cheering on one of the Hoffmans here tonight. Looks like Stephen Hoffman, who is up top pulling ahead. Hoffman quickly takes the lead from the Dominator. Out of turn 4, and looks like Stephen Hoffman will lead lap 1. And even with cold tires, everybody holds on. No problem so far. David Lux is out. A lot of the field going single file. Remember, limited tires and a 24 to 28 lap fuel run. These drivers have to think about saving everything right from the drop of the green. One driver not saving, Chad Ragsdale, already up 4 spots into 8. Nicholas Johnson, second in points, did not qualify. He is making his way up now into 24th. Chad Ragsdale is still monstering this track, has had the fastest lap twice in a row. As the Dominator goes for the lead. Stephen Hoffman sent it deep into 3 up top. Charlotte is one of those tracks, multiple grooves available to use, and quite a few of them are fast. But I did overhear a lot of the drivers talking about where was best to run. Not so much for speed tonight, but for conserving the tires. It's going to be a long night with limited tire sets. Chad Ragsdale up into 8, closing in on Scott Roney. Someone pointed it out in pre-race, talking to the drivers. Austin Ruskoff there in the 88. Some of the drivers pointed out his car tonight looks like a Taco Bell car. I kind of have to agree with him. It does look like a Taco Bell paint. Stephen Hoffman up front, pulling away just a little bit. Patrick Pieper now in second, the Dominator to third. Kirk Marble right on his bumper. Tyler Thomas currently back in 10th, lost some ground early, but he is trying to pull back up on the back bumper of Derek Schilling. Garrett Barber has had a problem. Garrett has towed it to pit road. We will not see the caution. Let's see what happened. There's Garrett. Looks like he just pulled over. Backing it up just a little bit. No idea what has happened with Barber tonight. Stephen Hoffman, Patrick Pieper out front. David Lux will be rolling off pit road in a moment. Kirk Marble now to third, but the top two, as they battle, have opened up. a bit of a gap. Based on what we saw in practice, we were expecting quite a bit more chaos, but so far these boys are keeping it clean. David Farnan at 6, Derek Schilling. Wow, Schilling up top, almost to the wall, trying to make that outside line work. He gets a run out of 4 down the front stretch, but Scott Roney was able to capitalize, goes to the bottom, and Schilling loses a spot. Baylor's another one. Ragsdale looking underneath. Patrick Pieper is out front alone, having pulled a 3/4 of a second gap on Stephen Hoffman. Kirk Marble in 3rd, Cody Burke in 4th, Ryan Philbrick in 5th. Nicholas Johnson continuing his march up to the front. Nicholas up 8 spots into 22nd and bringing Alex Harper with him. Alex now up 6 spots into 23rd. Devin McDonald a little bit off pace tonight. Used to seeing Devin up there fighting with the leaders, but man, he is back in 25th. Mark D'Antuma, who did not qualify, up 4 spots into 27th. Kirk Marble now into 3rd, and a big single file line right behind. Tyler Thomas currently in 11th, but he has closed that gap up. Closing in on Rodrigo. Richie Ragsdale back in 12th. Dave Mayberry in 13th. Edmund Jones battling with Austin Ruskoff, 14th and 15th. Jeremy Queener tried to get the run out of 2, but didn't have the momentum to get under Ruskoff. Jeremy Davis currently in 17th. Brian Hewitt in 18th, battling with 19th place Jacob Morgan. Ryan McDaniel, whoa! Ryan currently in 20th. Ryan did have to move his entire rig tonight from his old house to his new house, so it is not 100% set up. Back up front, Patrick Pieper's lead continues to grow. Now about 0.8 of a second over Hoffman. Kirk Marble in 3rd is caught back up to Hoffman. And Patrick Pieper is about to be into some lap traffic here early. And man, the lap time's already starting to slow down. We're about to find out who can serve their tires the best. Patrick Pieper's fastest lap was a 30.78. Last time by, 31.77. So right at a second off his fastest lap. This track does wear the tires out fairly quickly, and you'll start to see guys dropping back who have overdone it early, and a few guys marching forward. Chad Ragsdale, one of the big chargers early on at 5 spots into 7th, right on David Farnan's bumper. Rodrigo Montezuma up 3 spots now into 10th. Tyler Thomas had caught up to that group, but he has lost some ground. And Garrett Barber is back on pit road. Looks like Garrett may be having some technical difficulties tonight. And Pieper has lost a lot of ground. Wow, Stephen Hoffman has found another gear. And just a couple laps, Hoffman now just 0.4 of a second back. Kirk Marble, Cody Burke, Ryan Philbrick, David Farnan, Chad Ragsdale, Scott Roney, Derek Schilling, and Rodrigo Montezuma all there together. Tyler Thomas about a second back. He now has Dave Mayberry and Edmund Jones right there with him. Richie Ragsdale now in 14th. Ruskoff back into 15th. Jeremy Queener in 16th. Look who just took 17th. Nicholas Johnson. Jacob Morgan now up 8 spots into 19th. Alex Harper up 9 spots into 20th. And here we go, the first of the leaders to pit road. Patrick Pieper is in. David Farnan also coming in right behind. Lynn Marble and Shane Hoffman both in. Stephen Hoffman still out front. We're about to see everybody on pit road in the next couple of laps. And here comes Stephen. Kirk Marble, Ryan Philbrick, Derek Schilling, Rodrigo Montezuma, Dave Mayberry, Jeremy Queener, Nicholas Johnson, Brian Hewitt, Jacob Morgan. Half the field is in. Cody Burke now has the lead, and you have to think these guys still out with him are conserving fuel. Scott Roney ducks in. Tyler Thomas, Edmund Jones, Austin Ruskoff in. If this race stays green, man, anything could happen here. And it does look like the vast majority of the field is taking fuel only as Cody Burke comes in with Chad Ragsdale. Scott Roney also in. JJ Ringo has picked up a black flag coming off pit road. And Richie Ragsdale's the only car that hasn't been in. And Richie brings it in to complete the cycle of stops as Patrick Pieper reclaims the lead. JJ Ringo is ducked back in to serve his penalty. And it does look like Jacob Morgan is the only driver to... Nope. Rodrigo Moctezuma also took 4 tires. Everybody else is fuel only. So we'll keep a close eye on the 2 of those drivers because they're going to be marching through the field here. See if we can dial up Jacob's in-car camera, and you can see just how much faster those 4 fresh Goodyears are. Right on Ryan McDowell, a little love tap to Ryan. Comes out of turn 2 down the back straightaway. And watch as he closes the gap on Richie Ragsdale. Just drives right up, shoots to the high side. And man, 4 fresh tires out here is fun. Patrick Pieper still holds the lead. Kirk Marble now in second. Cody Burke in third. Stephen Hoffman in fourth, battling with Chad Ragsdale. Kirk Marble in second is closing on the leader. Now about 1.5 seconds back. Patrick Pieper has led the most laps so far here tonight. And we've got a bit of a battle going on back here. Chad Ragsdale, Stephen Hoffman, Ryan Philbrick, David Varnon. Ragsdale pulls ahead. Stephen Hoffman lost a little ground up top. Varnon now slips by. Pieper's lead continuing to shrink. Kirk Marble getting closer. Hey, good evening, Tina. How are you? And Cody Burke in third. He is closing in as well. Nicholas Johnson has now made his way up into 10th. But there is a swarm, right? Jeremy Queener in the middle. Jacob clears on the bottom. Wow, it is getting spicy back mid-pack. Jacob on those 4 fresh tires trying to cut his way through traffic. Jacob now shooting to the high side. You can see the difference those four fresh tires are making. Oh, look at that! Nicholas Johnson able to shoot down under Morgan, reclaim the position. I'm doing okay tonight. Patrick Pieper's lead now down to 1 1/4 seconds. Kirk Marble continuing to inch closer, and Cody Burke closing in as well. Jacob Morgan now up 18 spots in the 9th. Nicholas Johnson up 20 spots into 10th. Rodrigo Moctezuma now up into 16th. Alex Harper, who got no practice and didn't qualify, up 10 spots into 19th. Devin McDonald now at 7 spots into 21st. Mark Dantuma up 9 spots into 22nd. Tim St. Jean up 6 spots into 26th and closing in. Ryan McDaniel starting to lose some ground. Remember, as we mentioned, he gives the wall a little kiss. Ryan, he bumps off the wall into Tim. As we mentioned, Ryan did not get a lot of time to set the rig up in the new house. So likely everything is not set up 100% correctly, making it a bit difficult. Patrick Pieper continues to lead, but Kirk Marble and Cody Burke are inching closer. At the moment, 4th place, Ryan Philbrick 4 seconds behind. David Farnan now in 5th, Stephen Hoffman in 6th. Chad Ragsdale in 7th, Derek Schilling in 8th. Jacob Morgan now to 9th, Nicholas Johnson in 10th. Garrett Barber and David Lux both officially out of the race early. The top 3 now less than 2 seconds apart, but here comes the difficult part. Patrick Pieper has run into some lap traffic. And if this race continues to go green, these guys will be in lap traffic for likely the majority of the remainder of this one. And navigating lap traffic could be a huge deciding factor tonight. Ryan Philbrick still in 4th, but David Farnan is closing in, bringing Stephen Hoffman and Chad Ragsdale along. Schilling still sitting in 8th, but Jacob Morgan is closing. Jacob, with the fresh tires, continues to be the fastest car on track. Peeper's lead getting smaller. Kirk Marble in second, now less than 9/10 of a second behind. And the Dominator less than 8/10 behind him. Folks, don't forget, tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern, World Class Short Track Series will be back on track. A doubleheader with the Legends cars up first, followed by the late models. Wednesday night, C12 Motorsports will be back at 9:30 Eastern. Peepers coming in. Kirk Marble takes the lead for the first time, and the second round of green flag stops is underway. David Farnan is coming in, but he picked up a black flag. Likely to see a few more tire changes this time by. Shane Hoffman and Ryan McDaniel both in. Jeremy Queener has also brought it in. Looked like Jeremy may have had a little difficulty getting to pit road, but he has got it. Kirk Marble is coming in, and the Dominator is back in the lead. Glenn Marble is coming in with Kirk. And the right sides are up as Jeremy Queener rolls out. Kirk Marble taking 4 tires and fuel. I expect we'll see a lot of that. Ryan Philbrick, Devin McDonald have come in. Jeremy Queener has had a problem. No caution yet. See if we can see what happened as pit stops continue. All right, there's Jeremy down on the apron. A little too fast coming off pit road. Wow. Kit ends up kissing the inside wall, but he does get rolling again. A lot of these drivers coming back out. Don't forget, 4 fresh tires equals cold tires. Stephen Hoffman, Scott Roney, Austin Ruskoff all in. Chad Ragsdale now in. Folks, Folks, don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and YouTube. The leader is in. We release 10 to 12 YouTube shorts every day. This weekend, we accidentally put out a whole lot more. Richie Ragsdale is in. Wow, close call there. And it looks like for the vast majority of the field, it is 4 tires and fuel. And Patrick Pieper on the way. Patrick to the lead once again. Evan McDonald just got himself back on the lead lap. Devin up 10 spots now into 18th. He had problems in qualifying. Definitely not where we're used to seeing Devin start at. But he sure ain't gonna finish there. And Kirk Marble has reclaimed the lead. Okay, looking through the field right now, Kirk Marble took tires. Patrick Pieper, Cody Burke, Ryan Philbrick, Stephen Hoffman, Jacob Morgan, Nicholas Johnson. Tyler Thomas took fuel only. Most of the rest of the field took 4 tires and fuel. That's going to give that group of guys an extra set of tires later on. But guys like Edmund Jones back in 9th, he's going to make up a lot of ground here. He's 1.5 seconds behind Tyler Thomas and gaining ground quickly. Kirk Marble out front is on fresh tires and is pulling away from Patrick Pieper. The gap now 3.7 seconds. Cody Burke in 3rd. Ryan Philbrick now in 4th. Stephen Hoffman still holds on to 5th. As Edmund Jones just took 8th. Tyler Thomas slipping back to 9th. Dave Mayberry now up 6 spots into 10th. Brian Hewitt up 8 spots into 11th. And Mark Dantuma continues his quiet march. Mark up 17 spots into 14th. But Mark in danger as well as several others here of losing the lead lap. Only 14 cars on the lead lap, including Dan Tuma. But Dan Tuma goes up the track, lets the leader by. Chad Ragsdale trying to fight to stay on the lead lap. Kirk Marble wisely backing off. No sense in fighting and wearing his tires out quickly. And so far, it has been a caution-free race. A lot of excitement on track, but no cautions and no massive incidents yet. Based on what we saw in practice, a lot of the drivers weren't expecting a few. Caution! I spoke too soon. Caution is out for the first time tonight. Brian Hewitt, Tyler Thomas, Dave Mayberry, Scott Roney all involved. David Farnan involved. Let's take a look at this battle. Oh! Looked like Tyler bounced off the outside wall. Hewitt moved low to avoid it. Wow, Hewitt had a big hit. Hewitt goes up the track to back off of the car ahead. Tyler bounces off the wall, gets into the car below. Hewitt gets into Farnan, turns him into the wall. And keep an eye on Farnan. There's that bump. A big hit into the outside wall. Farnan did have to tow it in. And Jacob Morgan, the only car staying out. Jason, good timing, buddy. Our first caution of the night, and you know what they say, cautions breed cautions. We've had 65 green flag laps tonight. Will we see another 65? We will see one thing on the restart. Oh wait, we've got about half the field ducking back in to top off. And Jacob Morgan picked up a black flag coming in. Several drivers do get waved back to the lead lap. Looks like 19 cars on the lead lap, but here's a scary one for you. Ryan McDaniel, Brian Hewitt will be side by side on the restart. And it seems like a really good time to get loud on the restart, so when the cars drop in, or when the pace car drops in, I'll shut up and let you guys crank it up. Buckle up, because the car's about to roar here at Charlotte. And looks like they are extending the caution. Kirk Marble and Cody the Dominator Burke on the front row. Kirk took fuel only on that stop. Cody Burke, Patrick Pieper took 4 tires and fuel. Edmund Jones, Scott Roney also took fuel only. The top 10 is a mix of 4 tires and fuel only under caution. Well, that's going to make this restart even more wild. Lights are out as they come down the backstretch. Kirk Marble and Cody Burke up front. Kirk in control of the restart. Pace car is in. And the green flag flies. Crank it up, y'all. It is a beautiful sound, all that horsepower, as Kirk Marble in the lead, the Dominator on his bumper. Patrick Pieper in third, Edmund Jones in fourth, Ryan Philbrick in fifth. Now remember, they had completed the second round of green flag stops right before the caution came out. A lot of these drivers that took fuel only under the caution had just taken tires, but they are a few laps older, and that will start to show. Kirk Marble still out front. Cody Burke not pushing the issue. Patrick Pieper about 3/4 of a second back as they get single file. He's starting to close the gap. And a lot of people battling. And a mix of lap cars and lead lap cars. From about 7th place, Nicholas Johnson on back. Nicholas started the night in 30th. Came into the night second in points and is marching his way back up to the front. It's been a heck of a run so far. David Farnan has recovered and is back out on track. Right at the halfway point here in Charlotte. And the first half of this race has been amazing. The strategy, though, playing out here tonight, that's what's going to make the final part of this race very interesting. Some guys like Cody Burke, Stephen Hoffman, Patrick Pieper have an extra set of tires. Some of the guys that took tires early on just don't. Oh, things getting a little tight there. Nicholas Johnson gets on the brakes. He had to back off there for a minute, a couple of close calls. Ryan Philbrick gave the wall a big old kiss, but kept his foot in it, pulls up to fourth. And the Dominator has taken the lead again. Stephen Hoffman has fought his way back up into second. Kurt Marble in third, Ryan Philbrick in fourth, Patrick Pieper in fifth. And second in points, Nicholas Johnson, now in sixth, right on Pieper's bumper. You gotta hand it to this group of guys that did not take tires under that second green flag stop. They had no way of knowing that a caution would come out. They were just playing it. Nicholas Johnson up the middle, 3 wide. And he makes it work up to fourth. Take a look at this from the chopper. This is Nicholas Johnson there in the yellow car, right on Pieper's bumper. Goes up to the high side. Kirk Marble on the bottom. Kirk comes back up high. Nicholas just shoots it up the middle. Sends it deep into 3, pulls ahead. A gutsy move, it paid off. Now you see why he is sitting second in points as Stephen Hoffman battles for the lead. And folks, don't forget, if you missed a single moment of tonight's race, you can tune in later tonight. It'll be on our YouTube channel in 4K. Stephen Hoffman had caution, is back out. David Farnan involved again. Farnan has had to tow it in again. Let's see what happened. There they are coming out of turn 2 down the back straightaway. Oh, Chad Ragsdale bounces off the wall. And Farnan gets caught up in somebody else's mess again. Take a look from the chopper. There you see Ragsdale bounces off. And Farnan by far gets the worst of that. Likely to see everybody in to top off on fuel. Most of the field has changed tires in the last 20 plus laps. Likely to see everybody do fuel only here. All right, here they come down pit road. Everybody hits their stall so far. Nobody's gone up on the jacks. Hoffman wins the race off pit road. Brian Philbrick comes down in second. Cody Burke in third. Patrick Pieper in fourth. And Kirk Marble in fifth. And David Farnan is officially out of the race. And Farnan had a top 5 car here tonight, but had zero luck. Got caught up in somebody else's mess twice and ended his night. Looks like several drivers will get waved back to the lead lap. Currently have 25 cars shown on the lead lap. Chad Ragsdale is ducking back into pit road. Lights go out on the pace cars. Everybody stacks up for the restart. And it looks like Cody Burke will be gritting up front. But Stephen Hoffman chooses the outside line for the restart. All right, here they come through 3 and 4. The pace car drops in. Into the zone, the green flag flies again. Stephen Hoffman away like a bullet. Cody Burke gets to the bottom in second. Patrick Pieper in third. As they come out of turn 2, we've got a wreck coming out of 2. The caution is back out. Ryan McDaniel, Ryan Caldwell involved. Let's see if we can see what happened. All right, looking down from the chopper on the restart, and 3 wide just behind. Looked like Joe Lux was losing some ground. Ryan kissed the apron. Holy cow! Richie Ragsdale gets big loose. Sends Ryan up the track. Fortunately, everybody but Ryan Caldwell avoids him. A few drivers fake the pit road, but not many coming in. Jason, it could very well end up being that. They'll have about 60 laps to go when the green flag drops. 24 to 28 laps on a tank of fuel. Chad Ragsdale, no, that is not Chad Ragsdale. And as Shane Hoffman gets waved back to the lead lap. So I do believe everybody will need at least 2 more stops. And a few of these drivers do have enough tires to take tires on both stops. A few of them will only have enough for one. And so far, it looks like Austin Ruskoff in 16th is the first driver in to top off. And maybe the only driver coming in. Everybody else on the lead lap has stayed out as they get the 1 to green. Everybody stacks up on the backstretch. Stephen Hoffman on the high side, in control of the restart. Hey, good evening, Steve Trombley. And the green flag flies again. It'll be 60 to go at the line. And based on that, yes, they will need to make 2 more stops. It'll be interesting, though, if this stays green like it did the first half of this race. Austin Ruskoff being the only one to top off under that caution may have a bit of an advantage. Stephen Hoffman still in the lead. Burke on his bumper. Ryan Philbrick in third. Ebert in fourth, and Kirk Marble in fifth. And they are trying to get 3 wide mid-pack. Oh, Ryan McDaniel slides way up through 3 and 4. Nick Ringo able to capitalize. He gets a big run out of 4. Evan McDonald continuing his march to the front of 10 spots into 18th. Alex Harper, another one who didn't get to qualify. Alex now 14 spots into 15th. JJ Ringo up 12 spots into 14th. Mark Dantuma up 19 spots into 12th. And Tim St. Jean, no surprise, sneaking his way forward. Tim up 21 spots into 11th. But Nicholas Johnson, who's second in points, the biggest mover so far, up 23 spots into 7th. As the Dominator has reclaimed the lead. And Nicholas Johnson has been on a tear tonight. Now up into 6th. We've seen him make it as high as 4th after that gutsy move earlier, 3 wide up the middle. Whoa! Tyler Thomas gave the wall a big kiss out of 4. Managed to hold on to it, kept his foot in it, didn't lose too much momentum. Ryan Philbrick now up into 3rd. Patrick Pieper still holds on to 4th. And Tyler Thomas in 5th has his hands full. Nicholas Johnson looking underneath. And Nicholas just drives by. See if we can get a good angle on Big Red there. It doesn't look like, wow, a few more kissing the wall. Does not look like Tyler Thomas took any significant damage. Steve, yes they are. Jeremy Davis is in. This will be interesting. Jeremy Davis hitting pit road now. It is within the fuel window to go the distance. Yep, Steve, every one of these guys is sitting in a sim in their house trying to chase down Cody the Dominator Burke. Tim St. Jean, we mentioned it a moment ago. Tim has been on the move all night. But Brian Hewitt up in that fight. Whoa. Richie Ragsdale loses a little bit of ground after contact with JJ. Brian Hewitt coming off that win Monday night. Now up in the fight in 12th. And if you missed that race Monday night, boy, it was a good one. You can find it on our YouTube channel under the World Class Short Track Series. And they will be back on track tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern. Hey, good evening, Jerry. Holy cow, 3 wide. Hewitt holds on to pull ahead. It is a dogfight out here for every spot. Alex Harper looks back underneath Hewitt. JJ Ringo on their bumper. Richie Ragsdale still back there. But he might have been the wisest one when he backed out. Mark Dantuma now to 5th. Up 26 spots. Dantuma now the biggest mover. Nicholas Johnson up a measly 24. Just kidding. Nicholas has had one heck of a run. Up front, the Dominator has pulled out to a 1-second lead. Stephen Hoffman still in second. Ryan Philbrick in third, but Ryan's got his hands full. Both Pieper and Dantuma behind. Dantuma now up into 4th. Looks like Mark did take tires under that lap 83 caution. And I think he may have been the only one. Devin McDonald is on his way out. He has just completed a stop. Now we know everybody has to make 2 more stops. They are within the window now. All the drivers saying between 24 and 28 laps on a tank of fuel. However, the shortest run tonight, I do believe, has been Patrick Pieper with 25 laps. And Mark Dantuma looking under Philbrick. Dantuma now to 3rd. 0.8 of a second behind Hoffman at the moment. The real question tonight, Dantuma has that set of tires on. Can he get enough ground to run down the Dominator? And does he have another set waiting? Stephen Hoffman is in. And it looks like pit stops are beginning. Mark Dantuma now into 2nd at 29 spots. Regardless of the outcome of tonight's race, Dantuma's had one heck of a charge from the back. You have to point out, Mark Dantuma and Tim St. Jean never qualify, always start in the back and always march to the front. JJ Ringo now up into 12th as Alex Harper is making his way forward. Patrick Pieper is in. Now the question is, these guys coming in now, do they take that final set of tires now, or do they wait for the final stop? Pieper hits his stall, and it's looking like fuel only. And he is down and away. (25 to 28, Gerald. Shane Hoffman also just completed his stop. So Steven and Shane Hoffman both pitted. And wow, we've got a lot of them coming in. Scott Roney, Alex Harper, Brian Hewitt, Ryan Philbrick, Kirk Marble. A lot of drivers headed in. Looking down pit road, looks like fuel only for the majority of the field. Cody Burke has brought it in, as has Mark Dantuma, Tyler Thomas. Edmund Jones is also in. The Dominator doing fuel only as well. Richie Ragsdale briefly has the lead. He goes in. The lead will go to JJ Ringo for the first time tonight. JJ started back at 26, his first bonus points of the night. And looks like we've got a penalty on pit road. Rodrigo Moctezuma. Looks like he picked up a speeding penalty, as did Alex Harper. And Ryan Caldwell also coming back in to serve his. And it does, Gerald, look like the majority of the field is waiting for that final stop to take that final set. But man, what a heartbreak. 3 guys picking up black flags under this pit stop. Ryan McDaniel has had a problem behind. No caution. Remember, Ryan's rig not fully set up and adjusted. Smacks the wall hard out of 4. Gets loose coming through the grass, but does get it gathered up. Great recovery. Whoa, and a close call there. Cody the Dominator Burke now has a 2.2 second lead over Pieper. Ryan Philbrick in 3rd, Nicholas Johnson in 4th, Mark Dantuma in 5th. Marble, who's been in the fight all night, currently in 6th. Tyler Thomas trying to hold on to 7th from Edmund Jones. It does look like Edmund took tires on that stop. And David Farnan, buddy, I am so sorry. I really thought you had a top 5 car, but you got caught up in other people's messes. Still a heck of a run, buddy. Farnan, I was actually going to interview you under caution, but you kept being involved in them. Ryan Philbrick took tires under that stop and is closing the gap on the Dominator, now just 0.6 of a second behind. As we mentioned, Edmund Jones also took tires. Edmund Curley in 6th, and running down Mark Dantuma, Nicholas Johnson. And look at that run on those 4 fresh Goodyears. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Being on 4 fresh tires when everybody else just isn't, especially at a track like Charlotte, there ain't nothing much more fun than that. And Devin McDonald took 4 tires on his last stop. Devin has been back all night, been trying to fight forward. He is now 19 spots in the ninth. Ryan Philbrick has taken the lead and is running away. A 1.5 second lead over the Dominator, and Edmund Jones down to 4. And the caution is out. And the caution came out right in the middle of the fuel window. They can stop here and go the distance. And I believe Scott Roney involved. Take a look from the chopper. Scott was on the move. Look to the outside on Nicholas Johnson. Looks back to the inside. Oh, gives Nicholas a bump into 3. Nicholas bounces back. Kirk Marble had nowhere to go. Ouch. Both drivers do keep rolling. And now, as David Farnan is saying, it comes down to who has tires left. And we're about to find out if this thing goes green from here. This is the final stop. And here they come. And while Philbrick is out, several cars, including Cody Burke and Kirk Marble, are getting tires. Edmund Jones rolls out. Devin McDonald, Brian Hewitt, Tim St. Jean. So the top 6 come out after fuel only. Cody Burke in 7th, Patrick Pieper in 8th, Kirk Marble in 9th, Mark Dantuma in 10th. All take tires. Then it's a bit of a mix and mash behind. Some 2, some 4. Man, it's gonna be interesting. And Austin Ruskoff, who took 4 tires and fuel on lap 114, currently has the lead. Nicholas Johnson on his way back out. Jeremy Queener, Joe Lux, Alex Harper duck in. And as the lights go out on the pace car for the first time tonight, Austin Ruskoff in control. Also, for the first time tonight, potentially the first time ever, Austin Ruskoff did not come in under a caution. There may be a glitch in the matrix, I'm not sure. Alright folks, this is going to be a dogfight to the end. If you have any wild predictions, put them in the comments. We'll see who guesses this one right. It's going to get wild. Have about 22, 23 laps to go. Pace car dives in. Here they come. And the green flag flies. 22 to go at the line. Austin Ruskoff pulls ahead. Edmund Jones now looks for second. David Farnan predicting, oh, caution! Lynn Marble involved. And Nicholas Johnson may have been caught again. Jason predicts pain for sheet metal machine, sheet metal mechanics, and David Farnan predicting the Dominator and Peeper at the end. Let's see what happened. Lynn Marble to the high side into the wall. Nicholas ends up 3 wide again. I'm not sure why Nicholas Johnson stopped. There was a bit of contact, but it didn't look too severe. Ryan Philbrick has the lead again. I don't expect to see very many in this time. Alex Harper, Lynn Marble, Rodrigo Moctezuma all on pit road. So far, they're the only ones. Folks, don't forget tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern, more close, hard, fast, hard-hitting racing as the World Class Short Track Series doubleheader with the legends up first, followed by the late models. And don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and YouTube. We put out 10 to 12 YouTube shorts every day. Except this weekend we accidentally put out a whole bunch more. Go watch them, folks. Ryan Philbrick had his nose ahead at the moment of caution, giving him the front spot. He'll be in control on the restart. Austin Ruskoff up top. And what about Brian Hewitt, currently sitting in fourth? Coming off that win last Monday night. You know he'd love to repeat that here tonight. Hey, Sketch! All right, everybody get stacked up on the backstretch. We'll have about 18 laps to go when the green flag drops. And I have a feeling it's going to be a wild 18 laps. Question is, will we see another caution? I'm sorry to hear that, Sketch. You know if you need to talk, buddy. All right, here we go. Pace car is in. And the green flag flies. 18 to go. Philbrick is away. Edmund Jones quickly to second. Ruskoff into third. As they are banging doors back behind. Devin McDonald now into fourth. And wow, things are getting spicy. Caution is out behind. And it looks like Shane Hoffman and Richie Ragsdale are involved. And Rodrigo. These restarts definitely getting more aggressive. All right, looking down from the chopper at Shane Hoffman. Shane down there in the bottom. Richie Ragsdale peeks underneath, can't get there. Richie gets a run to the outside. Shane still. Richie comes down, gets into him. And wow. Now keep an eye on that blue and white car of Richie Ragsdale. Peeks to the bottom, can't get there. Goes up that middle lane, trying to find an opening. Down the backstretch, just gets a bit loose. And wow, Rodrigo had nowhere to go. And Richie appears to have lost his hood. Austin Ruskoff did come in and top off. And Edmund Jones now has the lead. Devin McDonald up 26 spots into second. Brian Hewitt now in third. Cody Burke in fourth. Patrick Pieper rounds out the top five. Kirk Marble, Tim St. Jean, Dave Mayberry, Tyler Thomas, Mark D'Antuma round out the top 10. Tim St. Jean up 25 spots into 7th. D'Antuma up 22 into 9th. That was indeed very rough. Lights are out on the pace car. They begin to stack back up for the restart. Likely to get bumpy from here, bumpier rather, from here. Edmund Jones in control on the restart. And with the cautions, everybody should be good to go on fuel. It may be about to come down to the tires as here we go. The green flag flies, 14 laps to go. Edmund quickly away. Brian Hewitt already looks under Devin for second. Makes an opening, the Dominator to the bottom. Oh, and a few guys getting loose out of turn 2. The Dominator already up to second. Pieper stuck in traffic. Kirk Marble trying to make it work on the high side. Edmund Jones has the lead, but the Dominator is there with fresher tires. And here comes Kirk Marble. One car off track on the backstretch. The Dominator back to the lead. Edmund in second. Kirk in third. Pieper now to fourth. And don't look now, Tim St. Jean on the move. Mark D'Antuma lost a lot of ground on that restart. He has slipped back to 14th. Cody Burke just set the fastest lap of the race. 30.16. As they are trying to get 3 wide for second. Kirk Marble holds on to it for the moment. Stephen Hoffman back in 5th, trying to run him down. Kirk Marble and Cody Burke both took tires on lap 126. Kirk trying to close that gap. He's less than a quarter of a second behind. Pieper now to third. Pieper also took tires on lap 126. Edmund in fourth, slipping back. Stephen Hoffman has caught him. Hoffman also on pressure tires. coming into turn 3. And he is going to clear the top 4 all on equal tires. Hoffman about a second behind. Tim St. Jean has had a problem. Let's take a quick look at what happened with Tim a moment ago. Here they are coming down the back straightaway. I believe J.J. Ringo on his bumper. Ringo to the high side. Dan Tuba closing in. Oh, contact. Wow, nice save by Tim. Nice wreck avoidance by everybody. Those pit crews likely going to have some messes to clean up. Six laps to go. Kirk is right on Cody's bumper. Pieper about a half second behind in closing. Stephen Hoffman about 1.3 seconds back. Chad Ragsdale now into 5th. J.J. Ringo in 6th. Edmund slips back to 7th. Five to go at Charlotte. Can the Dominator get his first win of the season? Or will Kirk get his first win of the season? Or will they end up tangled up and Patrick Pieper sneaking by? Patrick still holding about a half second back. 4 to go. Everybody settling in back behind. Everybody trying to gain ground. Some of the drivers just trying to hold on to what they got. 3 to go. Pieper got a couple hundredths of a second closer as Kirk looks low. Kirk sends it into 3 and 4. Cody on the high side. Cody will have the better run out of 4. 2 to go. Back down through 1 and 2. Burke still has a high line. He'll have the advantage on exit, but Kirk has the advantage into the turn. Cody almost cleared out of 2. Kirk has the nose ahead. And here we go. The white flag one more time around. Pieper inching closer behind. Out of turn 2, dead even down the backstretch. Burke has the nose ahead. Kirk sends it deep. Cody holds it on. Out of turn 4. The Dominator wins at Charlotte. And man, what a close finish. Wow. Those two put on one heck of a battle. Patrick Pieper was closing in, inch by inch, another lap. He would have been in that fight. Man, what a finish these guys put on. We'll get a word with our top three here in a moment. Folks, thanks for being here. What a finish. It's definitely one of those nights where you had no idea what was going to happen until the checkered flag flew. All right, let's see if we can get a word with our top three, starting with Peeper. Patrick, one more lap. You're in that fight, but did you have enough to get past him?
I don't think I had enough to get past him. It was really hard to pass tonight, and I know that those guys were running each other pretty hard there. The only reason why I was closing up is because they were running side by side. The only way that I really had any shot at it was if they kind of tangled a little bit and had to check up quite a bit, and I could slip by. But besides that, I didn't really have enough for them. But otherwise, it was a great race. I mean, this season really hasn't gone that well for me so far. I've had penalties and accidents and other stuff, and just haven't been too enthusiastic. So it feels good to get back on the podium, and it also feels good to lead some laps, have a race with 0x. So overall, I'm really happy, and I really want to also thank my wife because she's taking me out to dinner tonight for Christmas, and I told her we could go before the race or we could go after. So I'm going to get the hell out of here and have dinner.
Wait a minute, for Christmas?
Yeah, her Christmas present me was taking me out to dinner, and we haven't had anybody to watch our kids, so I'm going to go out to dinner
okay.
now.
That makes perfect sense.
It's 8:30 right now, so I'm gonna jet. Thanks for broadcasting, Doug. Thanks for Austin for hosting the league, and thanks for everybody else for
fun. Go have some fun, buddy.
All right, take care.
Well, okay. All right, Kirk Marble coming home at second. Kirk, there was a couple times in the final 3 laps I really thought you had
it. I was really trying. I thought so for a split second, but then Cody became Cody and just pulled right on out.
Man, that was a heck of a run tonight. A heck of a battle up front. I mean, you were up there pretty much all night. There were times where it was just cruising along, and then there were moments where you were in a mess of cars and things got chaotic.
Yeah, there was a few times where I thought we were all gonna wreck, but I don't know. We all kept it straight somehow.
Somehow is definitely the big question, man. A heck of a night tonight. A heck of a run, buddy. Congratulations.
Yep, thanks, Doug. Congrats, Cody.
And finally, our winner, the Dominator, back on top. You're back on top, Cody, but man, it was close until the final lap coming out of turn 4.
Yeah, I tried to conserve my tires there that last run, but in doing so, kind of got myself tight there. But Kirk raced me really clean, and man, we felt like we played a really good strategy, but the caution flags kind of came out at the worst time possible to make the strategy work. But it worked out.
It definitely did, and it looked like early on this was going to come down to a very long green flag run, and it looked like you might have had the strategy to beat. It seemed like you were able to save an extra set of tires and go further than anybody on fuel.
Yeah, I was saving from lap 1 there, but I was not going to take tires until the lap 100-ish caution if we had one. But the way the cautions landed, I kind of got myself in trouble a few times not taking tires, and caution came out and just had a set there at the end. I think Kirk did also. So no, it worked out.
Well, with the win tonight, you'll move back up into second in points, closing the gap on Austin. Definitely not the best. I mean, 4th race of the season before you get to victory lane, but I imagine we'll see many more.
Yeah, it's consistency this year. So I think we have 4 top 2 finishes. We'll try to keep it that way. But yeah, hope we get a couple more wins.
Well, great job, great win. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Cody the Dominator Burke gets it done again. Wow. Man, what a race. What a finish. And what a night, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Hope y'all had as much fun as we did. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern. The World Class Short Track Series is back, and you never know when the unicorn might pop on with a convoy. Thank you guys so much for being here. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one, y'all.